I call a member for Maitland.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I rise today to speak in support of White Ribbon, and I acknowledge the contributions of the other speakers on this topic, which is an important topic, and like the member for North Shore, I was also at that event last night in this Parliament. And so for that reason, I think it is important that I do speak out, that I do stand up against violence. But in this case, I wanted to speak in support of the many, many refugees in this state who are struggling. We're coming up to the most critical time of the period of the year for people who are living in a violent relationship. Coming up to the so-called Christmas season or the festival of Christmas, you know, people in their homes are dealing with terror on a daily basis, and the cuts that have happened under this government to refugees have just made so many issues for those people. When I go around this state, and I've been to more than 45 different communities, I've spoken to hundreds of people who work in this field of domestic violence, of keeping women and children safe in our community. And without any exclusion, they all tell me that they are all over capacity. Now, the government speaks to the changes that it has done, and I acknowledge the changes that it's done for the good, but there are some changes, the changes to funding, and I want to speak very specifically about that. The Minister has admitted that there was a $40 million spend on refugees in our state, which was cut to $20 million and put into the whole homelessness budget, which was around altogether $54 million. But there is no explanation of what happened to the people in that $20 million that was cut. Did they go into generalist homelessness services? Did they get accommodated with drug addicts, with people suffering mental health illnesses, all these sorts of issues? Or were they provided with wraparound specialist domestic violence, trauma-informed counselling? I think on this one day of the year, the 25th of November, tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, we can be honest with ourselves for once in this chamber, and we can acknowledge that what has been done to the refuge sector in New South Wales is no less than a form of violence, and it has cut the opportunity and ability of women and children in this state to escape a life of violence. And the government can dress it up all they like. There is always something to do in this space. There is always more to do, but this government has done harm, and I cannot be silent. We have a bipartisan approach to addressing domestic violence, but we cannot be an accessory after the fact when so many people are hurting. Every time I go to a DV committee meeting anywhere in the state, I get told that there's no capacity, there are no spaces, that police complain because they have women and children collected in the dead of night to try and keep them safe, and they have to put them in police stations or motels where their ex-partners or perpetrators will come and drag them out to abuse them again. We must do better. This is going to have an intergenerational impact. This is not just a bottom line on somebody's departmental accounting. This will be a new generation of perpetrators who only learn violence, and they live by violence, and they perpetrate it in their own adulthoods, in their own families, or they expect that that is all they deserve. I urge the government, instead of platitudes, instead of just supporting other charities like Share the Dignity or White Ribbon, that they stand up, they speak out, and they act to restore the refugees in this state. Thank you.
The question is,